Irrigation in the Imperial Valley uses more than half the water of the Colorado River each year. It enriches a handful of megacorporations with holdings in the valley at tremendous cost to American taxpayers, not to mention the riparian habitat of the Southwest's rivers. U.S. citizens paid for the construction of Domini's dams decades ago. Today, taxpayers continue to pay the cost of transporting the water stored by those dams to the Imperial Valley via canals and pipelines. Yet the most prolific crop in the valley, alfalfa, is grown for no beneficial purpose whatsoever. Rather, it is used as worthless ballast in the bottom of empty cargo ships returning from the West Coast to China for more factory goods. In China, the alfalfa is fed to cattle simply to get rid of it. Ralph looked around the group. In other words, much of the precious water of the Colorado River is entirely wasted, providing no value to the American people, but at tremendous taxpayer cost, and at tremendous environmental cost as well. Greta sat still, clenching her knees with her hands, but Leon leapt from his chair. "You convinced me to come on this trip under false pretenses," he challenged Ralph. The professor clasped his hands over his stomach and looked up at Leon from his seat. "It appears you're offended by my judgment that your company profits at the expense of taxpayers and the environment." The professor looked past Leon at Greta and the other corporate representatives. "Does anyone else feel as Leon does?" A beat of silence passed. "Greta?" Ralph urged. She let go of her knees. "Everything you just said is true," she conceded. "I've known it for a while now, and I recognize that the American public is becoming increasingly aware of it too. My company, Amalgamated Mining and Minerals, sees water the same way it sees everything else it deals in, as a commodity. We're happy to have the water rights we own put to their most beneficial use. Whether for farms, cities, or the environment, it's all the same to us, as long as we get the return on our investment our shareholders expect. All of which is to say, I was sent on this trip for one reason and one reason only. I'm here to deal." Ralph turned to Leon. "I was sent on this trip by Consilla Corporation, the biggest agricultural player in the Imperial Valley," Leon said. "We grow lettuce to feed America, cotton to clothe America, and yes, alfalfa that supports the American-Chinese supply chain. That is to say, Consilla uses the water of the Colorado River to keep America's economic engine running. I've been sent on this trip to make sure that keeps happening, and if that's a sin, then count me guilty as charged." His head swiveled between Greta and Ralph. "To hell with the both of you." His gaze stopped on Ralph. "But you especially." 2 mornings later, when Tamara called out that breakfast was ready, Ralph did not emerge from his tent.